What's up, you guys? It's Matt here. So in this video, I wanted to go over the second round of stimulus checks yet again, just because there's a lot of information out there. Now, I know something's different, right? You're probably wondering, hey, Matt, why are you wearing a suit? This is not normal for you. Did you have a meeting today, a virtual meeting where you're not wearing pants? No, I didn't. This is how I usually dress when I would go to work. And right now, the only reason I'm dressing like this is because of the fact that I've been dressing kind of like I've been homeless for the last couple of days because I've been inside, for how long? Was it been a month and a half going on 2 months? It's been so long that I've put on an actual suit and a dress shirt. And so I decided today that I was going to, put on some pretty decent clothes, even though I'm not going anywhere yet again. So that's just the way I feel. Let me know if you feel the same way. I feel horrible that I'm inside all the time. But, to be able to put on a suit and, feel good makes me feel good. So we're going to go ahead and get into an article talking about the second stimulus checks and what is under discussion. But before I start, make sure you hit the like button on this video and hit the subscribe button for more videos just like this one. And I do a giveaway every single week, so make sure you check out that video up in the cards. And there's going to be some changes to it a little bit. It's not going to be anything where the number of gift cards changes or anything like that. It's going to be a couple of changes here and there, small changes. So make sure you stick around for that video on Saturday. But let's go ahead and get into this stimulus check video update. So the reason I wanted to talk about this, there's a number of YouTubers, there's a number of people, there's a number of articles out there talking about second stimulus checks. The first stimulus checks, everything involving money to people. There's just a lot of information out there. And I want to simplify as many things as possible by narrowing down the things that I'm talking about without having to talk about 7 million different things. So I wanted to talk about any possible stimulus check that's under review. So as you know, the first round of stimulus checks started going out in April, should have really ended, by beginning of May. That's what I was looking at. I heard that the date was pushed back for Social Security and veterans, but it could extend to mid-May. It could get closer to, close to late May, but I just don't know how long they're going to take to push this back. It seems like they change dates over and over and over again because they're just not ready or they don't want to get out of it. I've heard that with the new stimulus package that they're really waiting to see exactly what the first stimulus package is going to do, what the first stimulus checks are going to do for people. And if they wait and wait and wait to send out these last stimulus checks, then they're going to get to the point to where they're like, oh, well, you know what? They don't even need the second round of stimulus checks anymore because, it's, I don't know, June and, we're all out of quarantine. But then again, people are still struggling and now they really can't pay their bills even before, where they couldn't pay their bills and getting a paycheck. Now they're not getting a paycheck. They're behind on 2 months and, they have no job. So then they physically can't pay. So hearing about the first stimulus check, I was really interested in knowing how that was going to affect a lot of Americans. But from what I understand in my comments, people are saying they haven't received their stimulus check. The $1,200 did not go as far as they thought it would go. It literally came into their bank account and went right out the next day. And that's why a lot of people say that they need the second round of stimulus checks. The IRS released data on the first round of stimulus checks last Friday with $157 billion paid out to Americans in 88 million checks. So if the total is around 150 checks, then basically they only sent out half. So as of now, the stimulus checks are really being debated and not something that's debated in a formal setting. It's really being debated amongst a lot of, people, a lot of individuals, but smaller groups, not anything that really matters, right? We have petitions out there that matter and could go to the White House and, basically tell people, hey, we need this money with how many signatures are down there. Now, I've seen a number of petitions. I'll make sure I include those petitions in the description below and as the first comment. But I've seen a number of people talk about this. I've seen so many people debate whether we need it or not, whether it's a Republican or Democrat or whatever your side is. I mean, you're debating whether you need this or not because there are so many people affected, whether you are, a Republican, whether you are a Democrat, whether you are an independent, whether you are, anybody. you could be affected by it. You could have lost your job and now you don't have any money. So you could be for stimulus. So there was a bill signed into law for $484 billion, basically aimed at small businesses in the PPP loan, to where, a lot of businesses will basically get some sort of relief from this whole situation. But it doesn't contain any type of stimulus check, which is not really a good thing, because obviously people need money, just like I said earlier in the video. Democratic leaders in the House of Representatives have indicated that they are keen on the idea of a second round of stimulus checks and even the possibility of a system ongoing monthly payment. So basically, like a UBI, which is something that I've been for a while. They're talking about the Emergency Money for the People Act, which there is a petition for that, and I talked about this a while ago. The Emergency Money for the People Act is where you would get $2,000 per month. If you are over the age of 16, under the age of 16, you get $500 till 3 kids. So I believe this has a number of Democratic sponsors, which is a good thing to be able to have anybody back your bills. But then again, you still need people from across both lines to really back a bill, just so that, you have support on both sides, on all sides. Also, 62% of Congress have signed a letter in favor of recurring monthly payments, which obviously is a good thing. However, many Democratic lawmakers are not keen on this idea, and despite the opposition of Republicans, there is a growing recognition that some form of additional payments will be necessary. Now, Trump actually talked about this, and I talked about this in a couple of other videos about Trump, and he was saying that it's needed, like it's necessary, but then he comes over on his town hall and says that he'd rather see payroll tax cuts be something that gets passed rather than monthly payments. And that doesn't make sense. It doesn't line up with helping Americans, because you can help out people that are working, but if 30 million Americans are not working, then that's not going to help out those 30 million Americans. And the people that are on Social Security, it's not going to help out them. Veterans, it's not going to help out them. There's so many people that it will not help out. And it's something that you're for, so you need to rethink what you're talking about here. Throughout this whole article, which I don't really like to see, is a small section on what this actually is coming down to. So yes, things are being discussed for the Emergency Money for the People Act. All of the other acts are really not being discussed too much. Whether it is the ABC Act or free mortgage and rent, which I have heard some positive things on free mortgage and rent, just getting that passed along with something else, because obviously that's the largest expense for a lot of people's income. But they do have this little small section down here, second stimulus check, what happens now? Effectively, for a second stimulus check to become a reality, lawmakers from both sides of the political divide will need to come together to agree. So the conversations are expected to take place over the next few days, and basically will determine if we need another stimulus check or not. And that's just on the basis of what other people feel, not what you're feeling right now, which you may be struggling because you can't pay your rent, you can't pay for your water, you can't pay for your gas, you can't pay for your food, you can't pay for a lot of things. You may be struggling, but another person is making your decision for you, I guess. Now, this is something you could not get away from. The economy is shutting down. They shut down businesses and said, hey, you cannot work. You are forced to not work, but they're going to also force you not to pay any bills. And it's not saying that they're going to pay your bills for you. They're just not going to give you money to pay your bills, even though they're forcing you not to work. So this whole situation, this whole discussion should have happened a lot sooner. It should have been discussed right after the first payment really went out. And I mean, like really discussed, not something to where it's like, oh, it's here, let's bring a couple more bills, let's get some backing for it. No, we need to discuss this, because if you get money into people's hands, then the economy will thrive, which I don't understand how, the stock market is doing so well. But, that's, I don't want to get into it because I feel like that's going to have a huge collapse. But I don't want to get into that right now. I'll get into that in a future video. But right now, it's all about these stimulus checks. Every video is really all about these stimulus checks because people need money. Every single person that I have run into was like, I lost my job. Yeah, I'm okay, but I'm like digging into my savings, all of the things that I've saved up for the last, number of years. I'm like slowly draining those wells. It's just too much to deal with. And I wish I could help out all these people, but I can't. So this is a way of helping them out. Now, there's going to be petitions down below. Make sure you check those petitions out. I had the first petition, which it might be at like 50,000 right now, but the one petition says it's supposed to go like directly to the White House, and it's around 10,000 or 20,000 signed members. So make sure you check that one out as well. Just get as many signatures as you can everywhere so that we can grow this thing and show them that we really need the money. But that's my stimulus check update, second stimulus check update. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you got some information. And hopefully I didn't confuse you or overwhelm you with a lot of stuff. But that's it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button. That helps me out a lot. Also hit the subscribe button for more videos like this one, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you're always up to date on all of these stimulus check videos and anything else that I post. Also, check out my podcast. My wife and I talk about a bunch of things. The last episode, it was just me, just because we're dealing with a lot of stuff right now, which everybody else is. And that's pretty much it.